So this might be an unfair question, but maybe kind of like asking which is your favorite child. But what event do you love the most, that you look forward to the most? And
So I love the 4th of July, very patriotic, and so I do love the 4th of July, but I have to say Christmas. And I know that it's kind of self-serving, but because the chamber does put on the Christmas events, but that Christmas parade, first of all, I've been here for my entire life, so I've been to every Christmas parade that I can think of. That is so key to this community. It's so iconic. And it's been in the daytime and it's been in the evening. I happen to like it in the evening. I know it's cold and there are people who don't particularly agree with me, and that's okay. But I love all the lights, and I love seeing the creativity that's coming from the different organizations and businesses that are there to help promote themselves and to just be part of the community. So the churches come out with some of the most amazing floats with the greatest messages, and the kids with their little candles and their little white angel costumes. I find it anywhere from the Santa side of it all the way to the more spiritual side of it. It's amazing. And everybody gets together. Everyone's got that very, that sense of camaraderie and community, and it's almost spiritual because of it. There's just so much joyfulness. And then now that we've got the Christmas house with Dale and Diana, oh my gosh, that house is just unbelievable.
yeah, it's amazing.
And so that being right on the parade route, Dell had shared with me at one point that they literally bought that house because of its location. And I thought for some people to embrace the fact that everyone's going to crowd their front yard and, leave a mess with their candy wrappers, I thought that was pretty cool that he really believes in that. And so with all the stuff that happens that first weekend, Luminaria and the Las Posadas, I love that. That is such a beautiful event. And then kind of combined with the bright eye, the cherry eyes of all the kids, and they get so excited to see Santa. And I have to say, I'm pretty passionate about Jingle Cat. And so, Jingle Cat is my favorite. And so with all of that going on, I think that particular holiday and that particular event is probably my favorite.
Very good. I wanted to ask you, maybe less exciting news or question. I-11. So
Yes.
I-11, at one time it felt like there was a lot of fear around what is this going to do, and we've got to do something, and it seems to me, and maybe it's just because of who I talk to, it seems like some of that is subsided, and but yet there's still kind of this underlying fear, but people just aren't talking about it as much. What are your thoughts on is our concern level right, or do we need to be more concerned about what's I-11 coming?
So the Economic Vitality Commission commissioned a study in 2015, and the study came back from RCG Economics, came back with about a 34% decline in traffic. That's the number that they could somewhat quantify. Of course, it's an unknown, and you're just doing the best guesstimate that you can through scientific numbers in the past and what you see from other communities. They also identified some solutions of what great communities did to make sure that they mitigated any negative impacts. I do think Boulder City is going to look a little different here in the next 18 months to 2 years. There will be some change, and I don't know if we fear that or if we are somewhat going to have to look at the opportunities that come from that. If we sat around and say, oh, woe is me, this is going to be so horrible, you're not going to get anywhere, because at this point in time, it's coming, it's there, it's kind of almost a done deal.
Right.
And so for us to sit and stew in our own juices is not going to get us anywhere. And so looking at the opportunities and trying to capitalize on those, pushing those and advancing those are really where my energy is. I can't sit and worry about what might happen, especially when it doesn't get you anywhere. So taking action. So what is that action? How do we be proactive? And there are quite a few things that we've identified. Obviously, I think the beautification that took place in the historic district, it did not come without woes, and there were some major issues and some major concerns, but the overall after effects from what the concepts and the feedback that we get from the tourists that come through town, it's been phenomenal. I haven't been here for a year, my gosh, it looks so great. And so we heard some really positive feedback. We also know that it did increase some property values through there. So there's a plus that comes from it. So same situation with I-11. We know there are going to be some impacts. I don't want to see any businesses leave. I want to fight for every single one of them, and we'll make sure that we do whatever we possibly can. But knowing that there may be some heartache,
Right.
what do we do instead? So the extension of the beautification and the Complete Streets project, all the way out to the light at Veterans. I think that's key. That's essential. It's going to be great. I know that. I have not been a proponent of medians. I don't particularly like them. I think that my businesses are very concerned about them, and so I have not been, I've been pretty vocal and pretty clear that I have some concerns about those. I get that you have to have those protection zones at the crosswalks. Makes sense, I do understand that. But as long as it doesn't impact the businesses, and we have so much boat traffic, and we encourage the boat traffic, and trailer traffic, and larger RVs and things like that. We want to be this destination. We definitely don't want to discourage that kind of vehicular traffic. So having medians, I think, sometimes scares people off. I did do a little bit of study up in St. George when they did on the boulevard. When they made all of their Complete Streets projects and their beautification, they did have some issues with the medians, and they had some businesses pull out because they were just furious with the whole situation. I get it, I understand that, and so that was kind of why we fought to keep it just to that dirt area up to right before Chili Jolie's, and the Red Mountain Plaza, and then there are a couple others that have to be in there for those protection zones for the crosswalks. And so hopefully moving forward, the city's able to identify the best way to fund that and make it happen, and then go about it with a way to try to protect the businesses as far as during the construction time.
Gotcha.
We knew that was tough on the other businesses, and so we try to do the best we can. We've learned from some of that. We will be doing some special programs. We've actually already developed a hard hat kind of, under construction. What do we do with those sales? What do those look like? And we're going to be reaching out, having the citizens, residents here in Boulder City, signing up for either an email or a daily text that will tell them who's running a construction day deal. And so those daily deals, those weekly deals, whatever those specials are, we will have direct communication with the businesses telling the residents, okay, shop local, and here's the business that has the deal while they're under construction. Trying to continue to drive traffic in there, keep them alive, keep their message alive. We want to make sure that is an improvement and an opportunity that's going to come once that traffic slows down in there. That's another great thing and another good opportunity for some of those businesses. When you've got people whipping through there, they're definitely not checking out what's coming up on the sides of them. They're just trying to stay in their traffic. They're all trying to get in that left lane. So this will slow down that traffic. It'll make it more of an observation traffic. We will then become more of a destination because they got off that I-11 because they came to the destination.
Right.
So we have real qualified traffic, and now we have the chance to really get to their senses with good messaging on their signs, and real good directional signage, and also just really adding to that unified look and the beautified look. I think that's going to be a big opportunity. There will be some growing pains again, but I think in the end it will be the best for everybody.
Is there any other things besides beautification that you think that will help for the I-11 that you guys are preparing?
My number one thing, and the thing that we have put so much time and effort into, I have a lot of really great advisors. We have lots of people that come in and share great ideas. A lot of great ideas that came from Think Tank. My gosh, this community's full of some amazing ideas and great people who are willing to put their money where their mouth is and take action, and that's a plus.
So the think tank, you got people together. I know you brainstormed some ideas. Are there some that you're moving forward with that you can share?
Can I come back to
specific
that?
ones?
Because I want to tell you about my number one favorite.
Oh, okay.
So my number one favorite's the train. So moving that train museum to the intersection where right now that dedicated right turn is, bringing the museum out there and building an enclosed structure where you can now have some real artifacts. You can have the ability to have a real, an actual depot where they can come in, they can get their tickets, and even a small event space in there. The way that it's been designed, they've got some great architects that the state was able to bring into play. LGA is just phenomenal, and they've made some wonderful strides and great renderings, so we can get a feel for what it looks like. And so in the process of doing that, it really has gotten so much enthusiasm for this idea But to be able to bring in some of the special artifacts and put them in an enclosed structure that has the security, now you're talking about a true museum. So not only do you have the platform, not only do you have the outdoor visibility of the platform that they have now, and it's a great location currently, but it's going to be even better when we can relocate, develop that linear park, develop the railway trail system, which will loop into the River Mountain Loops Trail and just bring that traffic all the way down into the business corridor of Boulder City. Just the combination of the new trails, the linear park, the moving the train depot. Now you're talking about the opportunity to bring in things like Polar Express. We know how amazing Polar Express is for other communities. That's the kind of quality and the type of larger events that we'll be able to host when we have that kind of space.
Yeah.
Just bridging of the two cities, again, with Henderson and Boulder City reconnected by the rail line now with the new bridge that's over the phase 1 of I-11. That we're looking at potentially, I think it's like the second week of April 13th seems to be the date that everyone keeps talking about.
Oh, okay.
So when that bridge reopens and we reconnect that line, that is such an amazing new opportunity that I-11 has created. Without that bridge, we did not have that. So, looking at an opportunity, this is one of them. And so with that bridge being created and the pedestrian bridge, you've connected the Henderson Trail system into the River Mountain Trail system, into the Boulder City Bike and Trail system. So that's an amazing new opportunity. With
What's the timeline on the train museum? I know I don't think it's been set in stone, but what are we looking at?
If you find me $25 million, I can make it happen pretty quick.
Okay.
So that is literally what's got us kind of in our planning phases right now. So the designs have come to fruition. It really is ready to go. We know that we're going to be going to the city looking for maybe city council support on a resolution for a bill draft to go to the next legislative session, asking for some money for the linear park. We know that we are working with those in the powers that be with the state in the museums department to have them also look at a portion of money to go to the state and ask for it in the next legislative session in the next funding cycle. And then we are putting together a capital campaign. I have a goal of trying to raise $5 million by August 22nd. I know that sounds really, really kind of over the top, and I'm a little nervous about it, but I think we'll be kicking that off as soon as that track reconnects and we're able to get to the Henderson side. I think it's going to make all the difference in the world when you're really talking about this tourism experience with the train. And so the reason August 22nd is because that's when a lot of those bill drafts have to be in, and I want to be able to prove to the state that Boulder City believes in and Southern Nevada believes in this train system. And then you go to those legislators and you say, look guys, we've got people who want this to happen. This is key to Southern Nevada. This is great for the state. If you think this is wonderful for what they have, the train system and the programs they have in Northern Nevada, we need that same thing in Southern Nevada, especially with the fact that Boulder City is somewhat the sacrificial lamb for the state, and connecting that I-11, bringing that traffic from Phoenix to Vegas so much quicker. That's great for Vegas, that's great for the state. It is bypassing Boulder City. So I think that the opportunity to have just to look at some of the important things that Boulder City is to the state and to potentially look at the funding mechanism for this train will be good for all of the state. And so I'm hoping that those key legislators understand that they hopefully will give us some money and we can make this happen. And then it's going to be a couple years down the road.
Well, and for those people who want to get involved, how are you planning to raise the $5 million between now and August?
So we are in the throes of putting together a blue ribbon committee. This blue ribbon committee will be the ones that help us go out and identify who potential benefactors can be, who we can tap into that really have a love of trains, who have an understanding of tourism in Southern Nevada, who get that, yes, the casino industry is where the majority, the lion's share of our tax revenue comes from, but the tourism industry and adventure tourism plays into that. They're not sitting in a casino all stinking day long. A lot of the time they're looking for something to do during the day, and then they're going back to that atmosphere in the evening for their evening entertainment. Let us be the backyard entertainment for the gaming industry. And so we really see with all the adventure tourism, the simple fact that, Boulder City has so much history. We want people to know our history. We want to appreciate that history, celebrate our history. So come for the history. We're going to tell you about the adventure. adventure, or come for the adventure and we're going to teach you about our history. Things like the zip line through Bootleg Canyon, teaching them what Bootleg Canyon, how did it get its name? Those stills that you're driving past as you're going up to get onto the zip line. There's an opportunity. I know they have the narration. They talk about that kind of thing. They talk about once you get it to the top of the mountain, what you're seeing in Boulder City. There are quite a few different narrations that talk just about El Dorado Valley. You know, several years ago, Damon Olerking was the urban forester. I loved that name. We live here in the desert, and his title was the urban forester. So Damon Olerking had such a great vision for what we should be. And in looking at that, he would stand up there at the top of Bootleg Canyon Park, and he would say, "No, if you look out there over El Dorado Valley and picture when the dinosaurs roamed here, that was all underwater." That is an incredible visual for me to look over the dry lake bed and the solar fields and think, huh, you guys were all underwater at one point. You know, that's just incredible. And so honoring that and telling that story while they're still ziplining and have that adrenaline rush, or skydiving with Brent over at Skydive Las Vegas, or headed up in a helicopter and headed to the Grand Canyon. We're such a gateway. You know, we were looking in our Master Marketing Committee, we were looking at some of the previous marketing materials that were back in, I think it was actually 1941, Alan Goya had brought some good information to share. And it was showing how Boulder City was the gateway to Las Vegas, or the gateway to the Grand Canyon, or the gateway to Las Vegas. We really are quite the hub for so much activity. And so, you know, one of the other opportunities that I-11 is affording us is the ability to talk a little bit more about why Boulder City is so important. We've got all the visitation, like 1.9 million came to the gate here, the Boulder City gate at the lake. That the National Park Service and Boulder City are such partners. We're a gateway to the lake. We're a gateway to the National Recreation Area. We are that gateway community that services those people that come to the lake. So not only do we have the visitation at the dam, we have the visitation at the lake. We have the amazing number of people who are coming because of the helicopter opportunities going into Grand Canyon. We are a hub. And we just need to celebrate that. We need to tell that message more. We need to spend a little bit more of a collective collaborative on what is that message? Are we all saying the same thing? That's one thing that came from Think Tank. So now kind of rolling back to Think Tank.